From the memories of the evil dragon prince, Xianxia knew that the evil god mountain was the headquarters of the evil forces, and there were many big shots of evil forces gathering, and the strongest among them was the heavenly Tao evil god, which was also created by the natural law divine lord. Ibdu, the evil god of the heavenly Tao, is very strong. If you all still possess the cultivation of Tao gods, can you all really defeat him? Xianxia asked. The strength of the heavenly Tao evil god was even stronger than the evil dragon prince's evil dragon father. That was why Xianxia asked him this question. Evil dragon prince's father was also a Tao deity. Well, it's a little difficult. Yuan Feng laughed. He never thought that he would have such an understanding of the evil god of the. What if we add on the great landlord? Xianxia asked again. This is still a little difficult. Yuan Feng sighed. The reason the evil god of the heavenly Tao is stronger than all the other people who cultivate under the Tao is because when the natural law divine lord created this guy, he left a large amount of primitive Tao power on his body. Yuan Xian added. The evil god of the heavenly Tao himself said that he had a primordial Tao pill in his body. I wonder what that thing is. In short, he can use a lot of primitive Tao power to fight against it. Enough. Let's hurry up and leave this place. The natural law divine lord will soon find out about our situation, and if we remove our restrictions, we will definitely be discovered by him. Furthermore, we will also kill that many natural law divine spirits. Yuan Feng took out a disc. Come up. Quickly leave heavenly evil world. Xianxia and Yuan Xian anxiously walked over. I still haven't figured out what's going on with the heavenly evil world, Xianxia asked. As for heavenly evil world, just like the natural law divine realm, these two worlds were equivalent to a twin worlds. The laws and the life forms of both worlds were the same, only the two worlds were not connected. The difference between heavenly evil world and natural law divine realm is that there is a heavenly evil abyss here, and every so often, there will be a large amount of evil spirit gushing out, and over time this world will produce a large amount of evil spirit. Yuan Feng controlled the disc to fly, shuttling through space. During this period of time, the heavenly evil abyss had been constantly releasing evil chi, and did not stop, and also released a lot of evil chi. This made the group of Evil God Mountain happy to death, and the evil chi was considered a treasure to them, and Evil God Mountain was also beside the heavenly evil abyss. Xianxia felt that it was weird. The evil dragon prince's memories did not have anything to do with the heavenly evil abyss. Heavenly evil abyss, what is below this place? Why is evil force surging out? Xianxia asked curiously. It is said that after a few evil beings from the natural law divine realm die, their evil energy will gush into the heavenly evil world, or the demons from other realms will die. Yuan Feng replied, I don't understand much myself. Not long after, Xianxia saw a huge red screen of light in front of him. It was the door to the natural law divine realm. Hee. I'm about to leave this damned place. Yuan Feng laughed. He was previously forced to stay in this world, and he did not like it here. Just when they thought they would pass through the red light screen, the red light screen suddenly turned black. What's going on? Xianxia shouted in alarm. He wanted to use the white tiger to jump and dodge, but he did not expect that the surrounding space was extremely chaotic. After getting affected by this interference, Xianxia was unable to use his spatial energy at all. Humph, destroy my plan. Go down into the abyss. Xianxia and the others heard the sound of their sinister laughter. Abyss? Heavenly evil abyss. Yuan Feng could not help but shiver. But there in front of him was a gigantic black vortex, continuously spinning, like a demon's huge mouth, wanting to swallow them all. What's going on? Why did he enter the heavenly evil abyss? Xianxia was currently very nervous. That place sounded very terrifying, and they were still discussing about it before, but did not expect to reach this place in the blink of an eye. I don't know, but that voice was from the natural law divine lord, Yuan Feng said in fear. The fact that the natural law divine lord could actually do it himself shocked Xianxia. Didn't you say that this fellow is unable to bring his strength into these worlds? Xianxia asked. It's hard to say. He might have controlled the heavenly evil abyss to teleport. Previously, when the evil wasteland and the devil wasteland fused, It was precisely this guy who did this. Yuan Feng clenched his teeth. He controlled the round disc to stabilize himself. Chun Xiang and the others were currently in an extremely powerful vortex, and were completely incapable of escaping. "This is trouble," Yuan Feng suddenly shouted, because his plate suddenly cracked. Just then, Chun Xiang felt a sharp pain from his body, as if it was being torn apart. "The space is splitting apart." Chun Xiang shouted in shock, and then with a boom, the disc beneath his feet exploded, causing a force to shake the three of them away. In this heavenly evil abyss, Chun Xiang could not use his power freely. He had originally wanted to release his 6 realms mirrors, but he could not do so no matter what. As he continuously fell into the abyss, the pain Chun Xiang felt became more and more intense, especially for his divine sense C. The world inside seemed like it was going to collapse. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the heavenly beast in his second divine sense C suddenly appeared and protected his first divine sense C. And Chun Xiang was also knocked unconscious by the pain coming from his soul. The dazed Chun Xiang woke up, and the moment he opened his eyes, he felt that it was extremely dazzling. Sunlight. Chun Xiang recalled the incident where he fell into the heavenly evil abyss, and it felt like he was in a nightmare. What's going on? Didn't I fall into heavenly evil abyss? What is this place? Seems to be a very normal world. Chun Xiang sat up and looked around. He was currently in a patch of grass and could hear the cries of the birds in the forest not far away. Beneath the heavenly evil abyss is actually such a world? Chun Xiang could not believe it. He used the Dao Heart Eye to look around, and saw that the place was filled with Dao Qi. Where the hell am I? Chun Xiang looked at the sky, then closed his eyes to sense the space. This space was extremely unfamiliar to him. If it was in natural law divine realm, he would close his eyes and a spatial mark would appear. With just a thought, he could teleport to the mark. However, he could not do it here. His powerful spatial force was useless. Don't tell me there are no space laws here. After Chun Xiang became shocked, he went to check on the Yu Yao Mountain Villa inside. He could see the situation inside the Yu Yao Mountain Villa, and he saw Long Run playing with a large group of children. "Hong Qing, are you all right?" Chun Xiang asked. Previously, the impact on Divine Sense C World was not small. "Everything is fine. You should be fine now," Chu Hongqing asked. "Yeah, I'm fine now." Chun Xiang looked around. "I just don't know where I am. This isn't the natural law divine realm that I'm familiar with, and isn't the heavenly evil world either." Pure text online read local domain name mobile phone synchronous read. Please visit. Found it hard to believe that there was actually such a peaceful world inside the heavenly evil abyss. If not for Chu Hongqing's voice, he would have thought that he was dreaming. He was sure that he was not inside an array, because he could clearly see the composition of the Dao energy inside it using the Dao Heart Eye. If there really was an array, he would definitely be able to see that there was life energy flowing inside the flowers, plants, and trees that he had seen. Where's Yuan Xian and Yuan Feng? The 2 divine spirits. Did they also fall into this world? Chun Xiang only remembered that they were knocked far away by the flying discs. When Chun Xiang came in, his entire body was in extreme pain, but it was already better. He tried to use it, but other than spatial energy, the rest were normal. He could still use the energy in his body. In front of him was a forest. At this moment he was walking into it. He only felt that the sunlight was fierce, and it would be much cooler if he entered the forest. However, just as he was walking quickly towards the forest, he suddenly heard some sounds. It was a very soft sound, like a beast approaching him cautiously. What is it? Chun Xiang immediately looked towards the direction of the voice. He could not use his spatial energy, and he could only use this method to be alert. His perception was still very sharp. He could see things approaching him. Just as he took out the heavenly magic sword, a black shadow suddenly pounced on him. So fast. Chun Xiang was shocked. If it was the past, he could directly teleport to avoid it, but now he could only rely on his body's quick movements to avoid it. Feeling something rushing towards him, he instinctively turned to the side to avoid it. However, he still felt his body being touched by that thing, and a hint of coldness came from his left shoulder. He lowered his head and saw that there was actually a scratch there. What the hell is this thing? Xianxia immediately used the Dao Heart Eye to look, but he could not see anything. He'd been hurt himself, and he couldn't believe it before he saw what it was. He was certain that his body was still as strong as it was before. This could only mean that the claw of the thing that scratched him was very sharp, and it also possessed very strong power. Here it comes again. Xianxia was startled and hastily avoided the item. He originally wanted to use the god-murdering sword techniques, but found that he was unable to do so. The god-murdering sword techniques was related to the power of the time laws, and now he realized that he couldn't even use the power of the time laws here. The laws of space and time were both restricted here. This time he avoided it. Moreover, he slashed out with his sword, but it did not hit the thing. He quickly retreated. If he could not use his spatial power, then he would be unable to release his spatial sensing domain, and would be unable to clearly see anything around him. It had been a very long time since he had encountered such a strange object. He used his spiritual sense to investigate and sense the qi in his surroundings, but he did not succeed. That thing's concealment ability was extremely powerful. Suddenly, he heard a faint sound. It was also at this time that a yin-yang array appeared beneath his feet. It quickly revolved, creating an extremely strong suction force, and all the flowers and plants around him were sucked into the yin-yang array, turning into powder. As for the thing that was pouncing on them, it started to spin as soon as it entered the Taiji array's range. Now, Xianxia could clearly see what that thing was. It was actually a black panther that looked to be extremely vigorous. This leopard was not big, and its eyes were green. Although it had mixed in with the black skin, it looked extremely tough, and Xianxia could not understand why the leopard's pouncing speed was so terrifying. After Xianxia saw the black panther clearly, he immediately controlled the yin-yang array to speed up the process of sucking the black panther over, wanting to hack it to death with a sword. Who knew that the black panther would jump out the yin-yang array without even taking 2 steps? Who knew where this energy came from? This place is too strange. It's just a small leopard without any power, but it's actually so scary. Xianxia looked at his own wound that was healing and felt a bit scared just thinking about it. He was certain that if this leopard were to go to natural law divine realm and meet an ordinary person at the 10th stage of the Dao Zong realm, it would only be possible to kill it. The weeds here were very tall, and that leopard wasn't very big. It was easy to hide inside, and it wasn't easy for Xianxia to find that leopard either. Fly into the air. Xianxia used the Dao energy in his body to help his body float. But just as he was floating, he felt a pressure suddenly smash down on him, causing him to land heavily on the ground. What's going on? I can't fly. Xianxia touched his butt. It was hard to believe. The powerful Dao energy in his body was unable to withstand the pressure. What a strange place. Xianxia then attempted to jump. All of a sudden he jumped very high. He was already prepared to deal with the sudden pressure, but after jumping down he could not feel it at all. You can jump, but you can't fly. Xianxia was speechless. The black panther from before did not reappear, and he quickly rushed into the forest. He previously thought that he wasn't weak and didn't need to worry about it here. However, after encountering that black panther, he wasn't as confident. What a damned place. Xianxia went into the forest and cursed a few times in his heart before carefully walking forward. He carefully examined the ground and his surroundings but did not find any traces of beasts, so he was finally relieved. Don't tell me the beasts here are all like that black panther. Their bodies are all very powerful, and they don't have any Dao energy in their bodies, so I am unable to see them using the Dao Heart Eye. Xianxia guessed that since the black panther only knew how to pounce and attack, it did not use any Dao energy to attack from afar. Previously, he had even thought of letting Chu Hongqing and the others bring those small dragons out for a walk. He carefully walked in the forest for an hour. It had been a long time since he had felt so nervous. Even after an hour, he had only walked a little. Suddenly, he felt a faint movement of air in his rear. With just this slight movement of air, he was able to determine that something was flying towards him at a very fast speed. Just when he felt it, he felt his body suddenly lighten, and he was actually thrown away. He thought that he might be injured, but instead he felt his body being held by 2 soft objects. According to his many years of experience, he was immediately sure that it was a woman who was hugging. With just a flash in front of his eyes, Xianxia arrived at a huge tree. As expected, it was a woman who was carrying him, and she was even jumping up a tree at an extremely fast speed. Pure text online read local domain name mobile phone synchronous read please visit Xianxia never thought that he would meet a human here, and it was even a woman. Although he did not see her face, but from her bouncy breasts, she seemed to be a beautiful woman. Sure enough, the woman who brought him here had dark skin. She was only wearing a black cloth around her chest and waist, and there were a few pieces of muscles on her lower abdomen that were not too protruding, but were very beautiful. Her arms and powerful long legs looked even more muscular, and looked healthy and beautiful. The woman had a head full of shoulder-length hair. Although her face was somewhat dark, it didn't affect her beauty. However, her beauty carried a bit of wildness and ruthlessness. It was only then that Xianxia realized that what was wrapped around her chest and waist was not black cloth, but beast skin. It was the skin of the black panther he had encountered earlier. It was a huntress. Xianxia was very sure that they were hunting. Idiot! What are you looking at? The woman glared at Xianxia. You almost ruined our good fortune. You are so weak, and yet you are running around everywhere. Are you tired of living? Xianxia didn't know what to say for a moment. When he was in the sky martial world, he wasn't weak at all. Even if he had to face the Dao Zong realm, he still dared to fight. So he thought he was pretty strong, but now he was told he was weak. But he thought about it, he didn't know much about this place, and the beasts here were really ferocious. He was scratched by a black panther before. What are you doing? Xianxia asked. You'll know when you see it. The woman took out a long spear from the hole in the tree. Upon closer inspection, the tip of the spear looked like the fangs of a beast. The claws of the beasts here were all very strong. When Xianxia was facing the black panther previously, his shoulder had been easily sliced off. There was a weapon wrapped in leather stuck on the woman's waist. It was probably a short knife. My name is Xianxia. What's your name, miss? Xianxia asked softly. The woman immediately glared at him, signaling him not to make a sound. The lady stood on the tree trunk and looked in a direction. Xianxia also looked in the direction in front of him. The wolf is still quite big. Xianxia was secretly shocked. There were still many sharp thorns on the wolf's back. He looked at the spear in the wild lady's hand, and saw that the thing on the spear was the sharp thorn on the wolf's back. Xianxia was also holding his breath. There definitely wasn't just one wolf. Wolf was a social type of beast. As expected, there were several more nearby this wolf. Just as Xianxia could see that she was lost in thought, a light breeze blew past. The girl had already thrown out the spear in her hands, and by the time he had reacted, the spear had already pierced the wolf's body. As for the other swordpoint wolves, they all had a spear on them. There were others here as well, presumably companions of the woman. So powerful. Just as Xianxia finished speaking, the lady turned into a black shadow and ran towards the direction of the dire wolf pack. Xianxia immediately looked over, and in a few blinks of an eye, the lady had leapt from the tree to the wolf pack and pulled out her blade from behind her waist, then stabbed it into the wolf pack's head. This reminded Xianxia of his youth when he was hunting beasts. It was just that it was not as fast as it was now. Their speed is close to teleportation. These people don't have any Dao energy on them, and their physical bodies are extremely powerful. Their physical bodies contain terrifying power. So what kind of existence are they? Xianxia used his Dao heart eye to look at the few people in front of him. Like the girls, they immediately leapt towards the giant wolf as soon as their spears stabbed into them. Seeing this, Xianxia had a lingering fear in his heart. He had almost ran towards the wolves earlier, and being entangled by those wolves, he did not know if he could beat them. Xianxia jumped down from the tree, while the woman walked over with a wolf on her back. None of them had any storage magic treasures, so it seemed that they did not know how to refine them, and even the weapons they used were primitive. You are called Xianxia. Who are you? The woman asked. I am. I don't know why I'm here either. Xianxia had already seen that the humans here were all of the very primitive kind. Primitive land. The woman continued in a low voice, Come with me. You must have come from a foreign land. There were people like you in the past, but they didn't last long. The corpses of the weak like you were nothing to us. Xianxia followed behind the lady and asked, Do you want me to help you carry them? The woman said, There's no need. If you're carrying it, you won't be able to run fast if you encounter any danger. Since he was looked down upon so much, Xianxia started to feel displeased. Right, what's your name? Xianxia asked. Ji Yuelon. She suddenly turned around and looked at the few brawny men behind her. You should stay away from them from now on. Why? Xianxia asked. If I hadn't suddenly brought you up the tree, you would have definitely continued walking forward. When that happens, you would have been attacked by those wolves, and those fellows would have attacked the wolf pack when they attacked you. They don't care if you live or die. Maybe their spears will even pierce through your body. Ji Yuelon's words made Xianxia frown deeply. It's not like this has never happened before. A weak chicken like you, if you're not careful, will be used by them as bait to lure beasts. Xianxia was now certain that the other end of heavenly evil abyss was this primitive land. This primitive land did not look simple at all. Humans and beasts were very strong, but they were all in their most primitive stages. Could it be that the humans and beasts here all have primitive Tao power S in their bodies? Xianxia suddenly thought of this. He had previously been unable to see the primitive Tao power when he was using the Tao Heart Eye, so he felt that it was very possible. I'm not weak. Xianxia snorted. Don't look down on me. I am just not familiar with this place. Once I become familiar with it, I will be able to easily hunt beasts. The people here were all primitive, but he had mastered all sorts of methods to utilize his strength. This was his advantage, for example. He had used the yin-yang array to counter the Black Panther's pounce. Many of the foreign cultivators said so, but they all died later on. Ji Yuelon did not believe Xianxia's words. If you don't want to die, follow me closely. Yuelon, you're such a nice person. Xianxia laughed. I just don't want you to fall into the hands of those guys. Ji Yuelon said coldly. What? Aren't they your companions? Xianxia felt that it was strange, as he was extremely hostile towards the few men behind him. No, we are from the same tribe. I originally was part of another hunting team, but the rest of my team was injured and they were lacking one person, so they assigned me here. Fortunately, it was only this time, Ji Yuelon said. Xianxia was secretly delighted. The reason why Ji Yuelon treated him so well was definitely because of his good looks. She was a woman, so she should have been wary of men, but right now she was very close to Xianxia. Yuelon, can you bring me back to your tribe like this? Xianxia asked. I can bring whoever I want. The tribe doesn't care. From Ji Yuelon's valiant attitude, she should have quite a high position in the tribe. Ji Yuelon carried the giant wolf on his shoulder. He was dressed in a wild attire and looked extremely fierce. Of course, Xianxia had met with such women before. I have a purpose in bringing you back to the tribe. If you are just a useless person, I will kick you out, Ji Yuelon said. She seemed to be able to see what Xianxia was thinking. Don't be so realistic, all right? Xianxia immediately said, What is his purpose? Just tell me here. If I'm really useless, then you don't need to bring me back to the tribe. Ji Yuelon said, I know that those who come from outside this region can understand some strange things. For example, they can release flames, make water come out of thin air, and even freeze. Furthermore, they have something very magical. This thing is very small, but it can contain a lot of things. That's true. Could it be that, in your eyes, this is magical? Xianxia was a little surprised. The barbarians here did not know these methods, but they were so powerful. Do you set fire to it? Ji Yuelon asked. She was very curious about this, since she was a very strong woman. If she could grasp this, it would make her stronger. This kind of strong woman always liked to do things that others couldn't. Of course, it's easier for me than farting. Xianxia giggled. Do you want me to set a fire right now for you to see? Don't. Ji Yuelon's beautiful eyes lit up and said anxiously. Wait until we return to the tribe. Don't let anyone else know that you know how to set fires. Xianxia looked at the few people behind him and said softly, They are behind. They should have heard it already. They can't hear. I have previously grasped a mystical technique that allows the power within my body to spill out and form a formless energy circle. Now, you and I are both in this energy circle, so our voices will not be transmitted out. Ji Yuelan's words piqued Xianxia's interest. Did you learn this technique from someone from a foreign land? She didn't want others to know that Xianxia knew how to use fire. She was worried that Xianxia would get snatched away, because she only hoped that Xianxia would teach her a lesson. Yes, but that person died later on. That guy was very stupid. In the tribe, he let many people know that he mastered many strange techniques and was eventually killed by someone. Ji Yuelan said. What else did you learn from him? Xianxia was a little curious. Just who would come here? Could it be someone from the heavenly evil world? That's it, it's not easy to learn either. This guy can release flames, but it's very complicated. I don't understand it at all, and he's also not very familiar with how to control flames. Ji Yuelan said. Originally, Xianxia wanted to ask him a few things, but Ji Yuelan gave him a look to stop talking, because the few people behind him had already caught up, because he saw that they seemed to be talking, but he could not hear anything. Just like this, without saying a word, Xianxia followed Ji Yuelan to her tribe, which was called Ji tribe. There were thousands of people there, which was considered big, and they were all very sturdy. The Ji tribe was located inside a mountain and lived in a cave. Ji Yuelan herself had a mountain, and this mountain only had her cave abode. In the middle of the mountain was a very spacious area, and that was the tribal market. There were many people who would go there to trade and trade. Yuelan, I thought all the girls in your tribe were as strong as you. I just saw a few of them on the road and they were all very weak. Xianxia said. Although weak, they can still hunt. Of course, if you were to marry out and give birth to children, your strength would generally weaken. Those women you saw were all from other clans. Ji Yuelan said. Female warriors like me are becoming fewer and fewer. Within the main clan, most of them choose to marry into the other clans at the age of 15, so right now, there are only a very small number of women in our tribe. Xianxia nodded. No wonder those girls I saw were a little different from you. They looked like they worshipped you. As long as I'm strong, I can be like a man. As long as I'm strong, I'll be respected here. I can marry a few women at any time if I want to. Ji Yuelan took out a blade and killed the huge wolf. Marry a woman. Xianxia suddenly felt that it was funny, but he did not finish his sentence. This Ji Yuelan was indeed fierce. You'll set fire to it, won't you? Can you roast these meat? Ji Yuelan had already sliced up the wolf meat. She was only cutting out a relatively tasty part. We'll eat these meat ourselves. The bones will make the soup, and I'll trade the rest for medicinal herbs. Some people like to eat organs. Ji Yuelan looked at the wolf skin that she peeled off and then threw it to the side. It seemed that she did not like the wolf skin. Yuelan, do you want to wear clothes like this? Xianxia looked at Ji Yuelan's fiery hot body. Although her current dressing was very pleasing to the eyes, Xianxia did not want too many people to see it. Ji Yuelan only covered his chest and waist with 2 pieces of simple beast skins and wore the shoes made from beast tendon. It was very simple. He felt that those 2 pieces of cloth would fall if he was not careful. Not good at all. Ji Yuelan looked at the gray and somewhat tattered clothes that Xianxia was wearing. When Xianxia was sucked into the heavenly evil abyss, his clothes were already torn. That's because my clothes are broken. When Xianxia entered the tribe, he saw that the people inside were dressed in simple beast skins to cover some of their body parts. Do you have this black beast skin? Let me make you a set of clothes. Xianxia said. He felt that the people here were too outdated and did not know how to dress at all. Ji Yuelan took out a large pile of this beast skin from a wooden bucket and threw it to Xianxia. After Xianxia received it, he said, I had thought that these beast skins were very tough. I didn't think they would be so fragile. Just now, he had used the heavenly magic sword to slash it open. Don't tell me that clothes can also be used for defense? Ji Yuelan asked very seriously. She seemed to know that there were many strange things about the people who came from another realm. In Xianxia's world, clothes could be used for a lot of defense, especially that kind of soft armor that was refined. Not only was it comfortable to wear, it could also protect against attacks. Xianxia made Chu Hongqing find a beautiful black-colored skin-tight clothes for the girls to wear. This was also made by Shui Xianxian and the others using many superior materials. You should go to bed. These clothes are a bit strange. Although they look a bit small, they can be used to support the body. Moreover, it will be warm in winter and cool in summer. It also has a certain level of defense. The skin-tight set of clothes that Xianxia had taken out was indeed a little small. It was, after all, worn by Chu Hongqing. This Ji Yuelan was as big as Xianxia, and he was slightly petite. How do I wear it? Ji Yuelan took it and touched it. It was very soft and comfortable, and she could smell a faint fragrance from it. She liked the smell very much and immediately liked this set of clothes, although she did not know if it looked good on her. Xianxia took out another set of his, and it was a bit larger. He put on his pants and clothes respectively, and then used a beautiful belt to tie them around his waist. Xianxia had always had a very handsome appearance. If he was serious and sorry, he would be very attractive to women. Do you understand now? After Xianxia finished speaking, he took out another pair of boots and gave it to her. Ji Yuelan nodded his head and then very casually ripped off the beast's skins around his chest and waist. This scared Xianxia to the point that his heart almost stopped beating. Of course, if he did not see the other party being so generous, he would be too apologetic to Ji Yuelan, so he looked at Ji Yuelan with an unchanged expression. Oh right, I'll go wash myself first. Are you coming? Right by the river, Ji Yuelan said. And then he wrapped himself around those two pieces of beast skins. Are you always so casual? Xianxia caught his breath and laughed. No, I can show it to whoever I want. I just don't hate you. Ji Yuelan said very straightforwardly. I thought you would turn around. If you want to take a bath, you don't need to go to the river. I can release water for you to take a bath. After Xianxia finished speaking, he raised his hand high up into the air, and water flowed out of the center of his palm. Ji Yuelan was startled. She was extremely surprised. Didn't you say you know how to release flames? Fire and water are incompatible, but you can release both? My flames are mainly used for fighting, and the water isn't that strong. This isn't a problem for me, so quickly wash up, Xianxia said. Sure enough, Ji Yuelan immediately tore off the beast's skin on her body. This time, Xianxia consciously turned his head around, and after Ji Yuelan had finished washing himself, Xianxia took out a large bath basin for her to soak in. Ji Yuelan, who was immersed in it, enjoyed the feeling of closing his eyes, and said quietly, You sure have a lot of tricks up your sleeves. I didn't save you for nothing. I only treat you well because you were kind. Of course, if you don't attack me, I might not die. I'm not as weak as you think, said. Previously, he had always been looked down upon by this woman, which made him a little unhappy in his heart. Ji Yuelan did not say anything. Only the chief and his descendants can enjoy this. Only I, who usually have to go out to hunt for beasts, can continue to stay in the clan, Ji Yuelan said. Even if I were outside, I would still be in constant danger. Most of the experts from the other realms have all died. After showering, Ji Yuelan wore the beautiful tight clothes that Xianxia had given her. She looked extremely handsome at the moment. Of course, besides caring about the looks, Ji Yuelan was also very concerned about the defense that Xianxia mentioned. She tried out the spike on the wolf's back and was very surprised to see that the thin clothes weren't pierced through. She had always thought that only some kind of beast armor could do such a thing, but those armor were extremely stiff. Xianxia was already roasting the meat. He also wanted to taste the beast meat. After eating, he was sure that all the beasts here contained primitive Tao power. This proved his conjecture that the humans and beasts here all had very strong primitive Tao power in their bodies. So even if they did not know how to release their elemental energy, their bodies were still very strong. Xianxia didn't know what kind of world this was. The person who grew up in here actually had such a strong primitive Tao power. Yulan, what is your relationship with the patriarch? Xianxia asked. This is bad. Ji Yuelan said. What are you trying to do? No. I just want to ask you about this world. It's fine if you don't have a good relationship with him. Xianxia said. You want to go back to your world? Ji Yuelan saw through Xianxia's intention with a glance. Of course. I have very important things to do in my world. Xianxia sighed. He had somehow come to this place, and it made him very vexed. I know one thing. I heard my grandfather say before that the world we live in is the beginning of 10,000 worlds, the first form of all worlds. Our world will forever retain this state. Ji Yuan said, there are many foreign lands outside the sect. Initially, those foreign lands were like us, but later they evolved in all kinds of ways. Did your grandfather say how to leave this place? Chen Xiang asked. No, he himself also wanted to leave this world. He said this world had great restrictions on him. Ji Yuan shook his head. What about your grandfather? Can you take me to see him? Chen Xiang asked anxiously. He's dead. He was originally the patriarch of Ji tribe, but after he died, my father lost in the fight for the patriarch's position. You must know that those who fight for the clan leader's position will not stay in the tribe if they lose the battle. They will leave for other places as well. Ji Yuan said. Ji Yuan must have been ridiculed since he was young for her father's defeat, but now she seemed to have become powerful because of him and received respect from others, so no one mentioned anything about her father anymore. Ji Yuan, you need 3,000 kilograms of beast meat this month. It's been 20 days and you haven't even handed over a kilogram of meat. Where are the wolves you hunted today? A sound came from outside the stone door of the cave. I'm currently eating. Once I recuperate, I will definitely hand over 3,000 beast meat within 10 days. Ji Yuan said impatiently. It required 3,000 kilograms of meat every month, which was not a small amount. But Ji Yuan had not handed in the meat every 20 days. It must have been delayed because of some unknown reason. Chen Xiang guessed that she was injured because of her body, and she said earlier that everyone in her team was injured. When the person outside heard Ji Yuan's tone, he immediately left. Ibdu, can't I hand it in? He had just eaten a lot of wolf meat, which made him feel a little guilty. Of course, Ji Yuan had eaten more than him. No! Beast meat is mainly used to raise children, and many children in the clan have lost their parents. Warriors like us need to hunt for beast meat for them to eat and raise them, so that they can also become warriors in the future. Besides that, our clan has many heavily wounded warriors who have fought for our tribe before. Now we have to support them as well. Ji Yuan said, when I was young, I grew up eating other people's beast meat, so now is also the time for me to fulfill my obligations. This is a type of inheritance. You said before that your teammates were all injured, right? Are you hurt yourself? Chen Xiang couldn't tell that Ji Yuan was injured, but she looked very energetic. My teammates are more or less dead now. Their bodies are the only thing left. Their souls have been destroyed. Although Ji Yuan was expressionless, a trace of sorrow flashed across his eyes. You met a strong beast? Chen Xiang immediately knew that they must have met someone who knew how to use soul attacks. He guessed that the people here did not cultivate the divine sense, so they did not know how to use their attributed power, and their soul defense was very weak as well. We don't have that kind of beast here. We've never met one before. Ji Yuan nodded his head. I was lucky. It was just that I was hit in the body. I am pretty much recovered now, but my heart will hurt from time to time. Chen Xiang immediately used the Dao Heart Eye to look at her heart. Of course, his current appearance was as though he was staring at Ji Yuan's chest. Since Ji Yuan had taken off her clothes for him to see just now, he naturally wouldn't have cared. He was only curious. What are you looking at? There's a crack in your heart. Chen Xiang frowned. There is a power that is preventing your heart from recovering, so the cracks in your heart are unable to heal. You can see it? Ji Yuan was very surprised. She anxiously asked, can you cure me? I don't know yet, but it should be possible. Just as Chen Xiang finished speaking, Ji Yuan took off his clothes, and the item that suddenly popped out had a huge impact on Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang immediately turned his head and said, there is no need to take off your clothes. Quickly put it on. Ji Yuan anxiously put on the clothes, while Chen Xiang only had 2 fingers pressing on the location of Ji Yuan's chest. Then he used the devouring magic kung fu to suck out the energy that was in her heart. He was able to successfully suck it out, and the moment it was sucked out, Ji Yuan also frowned in pain, but she did not scream out loud. Her chest was moving up and down. Obviously the pain had not subsided yet. At the same time, Xianxia also used his Dao heart eye to observe and discovered that the wound on her heart was quickly healing. The recovery rate of the primitive Tao power is truly amazing. Xianxia's body was severely injured earlier, but with the help of the primitive Tao power, it quickly recovered. All right, how did you do it? Ji Yuelan felt that this was extremely mystical. Not only could Xianxia see the wound in her heart, he could even treat it for her. She felt that she had really picked up a treasure. Tomorrow I will go hunt beasts. Wait for me here for 10 days. After I finish this month's mission, I will take you for a walk. Ji Yuelan said. I'll go with you. Xianxia said. I'm really not weak. Don't tell me you plan to go alone. Ji Yuelan had already lost her teammates, and she wouldn't be able to find any good teammates for a short period of time. All right, but you have to listen to me when the time comes. I need a large amount of beast meat, so when you attack, you have to try to keep it safe. Ji Yuelan said. The people here also gain strength mainly through the meat, which is their food. Xianxia nodded, then walked out of the cave. She used the wolf's internal organs and some of its bad meat to exchange for some medicinal herbs to treat her injuries. She gave Xianxia a lance and said, You should know how to use this. Xianxia looked at the tip of the spear. It was indeed very sharp, he had seen it before. I use this. Xianxia took out his heavenly magic sword and laughed. This thing of mine is very powerful. You can make it into a bow and arrow for me. It isn't appropriate to use a bow to hunt a powerful savage beast. The skin of the savage beast is extremely thick, and the strength of the bow is insufficient. Ji Yuelan said. The bow here may not have good materials, so it did not have enough bounce power. However, Xianxia's 9-soaring divine bow would not have to worry about this issue. As long as he had enough Dao power, the bounce power of the bow would be very strong. But Ji Yuelan still listened to her. She had made more than 20 arrows for Xianxia. Xianxia now knew how to deal with beasts. It would be best if they were attacking from afar, lying in ambush of beasts. He had met the Black Panther before, so he knew that it was extremely dangerous to engage in close combat with a beast. Where is your bow? Ji Yuelan said. This is my bow. Xianxia raised the heavenly magic sword in his hands and then, under his control, it became a 9-soaring divine bow. It flickered with a red light and looked extremely domineering. How amazing! Ji Yuelan praised softly, saying, Our clan chief and his descendants also have some strange beings' toys. The clan chief only has a ring that can hold many things. I heard about it from the wife of one of clan chief's sons when I was chatting with him last time. It is said that there is a need to learn how to use that ring. This is for you. Xianxia took out a ring, storage bag, etc. Although the spatial laws were restricted in this place, the storage magic treasure still had its own spatial laws power, so it could be used. Before, Ji Yuelan knew how to use his spirit sense to control his power to form a domain. It was when she was in the forest with Xianxia, in order to prevent others to hear their conversation. Therefore, Ji Yuelan was already very familiar with the usage of spirit sense. She only needed Xianxia to teach her for a moment to understand how to use it. At this time, Xianxia also saw a rare smile on her face, as she placed a lot of things into the cave. In the past, the foreign invaders we met were not as powerful as you. You seem to know everything. Do you have a high position in your world? Ji Yuelan asked. Well, it's hard to say my position, but in short, the world I live in is pretty good. However, there are always some things that come and cause trouble. I often fight with my enemies, and they are the ones who bring me here. Xianxia sighed. Don't worry. Since you can enter this place, you'll definitely be able to leave. I'll think of a way for you. Ji Yuelan patted Xianxia's shoulder. Rest? We will set off for the wild beasts tomorrow. Ji Yuelan could understand why Xianxia wanted to go back. Although she brought Xianxia back with a purpose, she was not a selfish person, and Xianxia treated her very well. He even gifted her quite a few good things. Therefore, she had already decided just a moment ago to think of a way to help Xianxia return. Xianxia slept in a corner. Even though it was only the ground, it was soft and comfortable with a furry beast skin. Although Ji Yuelan would usually fight and kill people, she would usually make her own cave very tidy, and Xianxia would also live very comfortably here. When he woke up on the second day, Xianxia could smell the fragrant meat. This was a very big challenge for Ji Yuelan, but she did not know if she could complete it. After all, this time it was just her and Xianxia, and she had an extremely professional team in the past. There were no problems. They also frequently completed missions in advance. The rules in the Ji tribe are very strict, especially against me. If I don't hand in the beast meat when the time comes, they will let some of the children starve for a while. This is a punishment to my heart. Ji Yuelan's expression was stern. Don't they know you're hurt? Xianxia frowned. This kind of punishment was indeed the most unbearable. They don't believe me. They're not like you who can see the wound in my heart. My previous injury was even worse, so I had to rest for a while. However, they don't believe me. Ji Yuelan handed over a plate of meat to Xianxia. Xianxia had only eaten 2 pieces. He only needed to consume a pill to be able to replenish his own consumption. On the other hand, Ji Yuelan started to eat in big mouthfuls. In her opinion, the more she ate, the more she would eat, the stronger she got. She was extremely grateful to Xianxia, because Xianxia had healed her heart, making her unable to endure the sudden pain in her heart during battle. If there was that kind of pain during battle, it would be fatal for her. After they finished eating, Ji Yuelan brought Xianxia out of her cave abode. When she brought Xianxia back earlier, it attracted many people's attention. But now that Ji Yuelan had donned the beautiful tight clothes that Xianxia had given her, it made people constantly praise him. It was indeed very beautiful. Do you want to take this weak chicken to the beasts? It would be better to hand him over to the chief, who will learn something from him. A big-sized man said as he looked disdainfully at Xianxia. Ji Yuelan did not care about him, and said to Xianxia, "Let's go." After he finished speaking, Ji Yuelan started sprinting. Her speed was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, she was already more than 300 meters away. Xianxia immediately caught up. Although he couldn't use his spatial energy anymore, he was still fast enough to keep up with Ji Yuelan's footsteps. To be able to become so terrifying just by relying on physical strength. This is indeed incredible. Xianxia followed behind Ji Yuelan, secretly exclaiming in his heart. Right now, he was also channeling primitive Tao power into his limbs and bones, allowing his body to be more agile and strong. She was considered a first-rate warrior in the tribe, and in terms of speed, she was even faster than the other warriors. Thus, Xianxia's current speed was no longer inferior to the warriors in Ji tribe. In the end, my physical body is not strong enough. If my physical body is strong enough, my primordial profound gate will open at full strength, and I will need to use even more primitive Tao power S. My speed and strength will increase greatly, and I will need to refine more Dao God Emperor Yuan Dan. It would be difficult for Xianxia to catch up with him now, but Ji Yuelan was extremely relaxed. Of course, if he were to use the power of space, that would not be a problem at all. After an hour, Ji Yuelan suddenly stopped. She and Xianxia were already far away from the tribe, and now that she had the storage ring that Xianxia gave her, even if she managed to hunt a lot of beasts, she could easily bring it back, and thinking about it, she felt much more at ease. "Do you want to rest?" Ji Yuelan asked. "No need." Xianxia wasn't actually tired, but he felt that his own body was too weak. He had enough primitive Tao power, but he couldn't use it. "Good. You are much stronger than I imagined. This is indeed a rare sight. Before, when I saw the humans from the other realms, they were all extremely weak." Ji Yuelan nodded at Xianxia. "Next, we will prepare to hunt beasts, and it's even a herd of beasts. Yulan, you've discovered that there are beasts here?" Xianxia asked anxiously. He did not notice anything along the way. There are about 10 bears in this mountain. Each one weighs at least 3000 to 4000 genes. We only need to kill one, and we will be able to complete the mission." Ji Yuelan thought about it again and again, and felt that he had to hunt large-sized beasts in order to complete the quest within 10 days. Only one. How could that be enough? Can't we just kill them all? Xianxia laughed. "Since they are here, the bears here aren't like those wolves. There are strong and weak beasts as well, not to mention that we're only 2 people right now." Ji Yuelan said, To be able to kill one is already not bad. She and Xianxia attacked from afar and killed a bear. Then, she rushed over and put the corpse into her storage ring, then quickly escaped. In the past, she didn't have a storage ring, so she would always carry it after killing it. She told her thoughts to Xianxia, who said, "If that's the case, then I can kill all those bears in the distance too. This won't do. Although those bears have large bodies, their speed is very fast. Also, some thorns will fly out from their mouths and fly over like rain. If they get hit, they will even die." Ji Yuelan said. Xianxia did not feel anything, but he was extremely familiar with the beasts here. Although they were strong, their brains were relatively simple. So it's like that. Xianxia took out the 6 realms mirrors and tested it out. He realized that the array formation inside could be used, but he didn't know if it could defend against beast attacks. To his regret, the 6 realms mirrors could not fly as well. After Ji Yuelan and Xianxia finished discussing, they brought Xianxia to the group of stone mountains in front of them. There were large and small stones on the stone mountains, making it easier to hide. "Do you see that? That's a bear hole. This mountain is huge, and the beasts outside are relatively weaker, but they are very strong for us." Ji Yuelan lied on top of a big rock, tightly holding onto the spear in his hands. He looked at the bear hole, waiting for the bear to come out. Xianxia also took out his 9 soaring sky divine bow and waited. How long will it take? Xianxia waited for an hour and felt that he was getting impatient. "I don't know. It might take a few days. I've already prepared food for 10 days. "Don't worry," Ji Yuelan said. "Shouldn't we just throw a piece of raw meat into the bear's mouth?" Xianxia said. "Lure them out. It won't be that easy. These bears are very smart. If we do this, it will only raise their vigilance. When the time comes, it will be even harder to kill. Hunters need to be patient." Ji Yuelan instructed Xianxia. "How about this? I'll go over and lure the bear out," Xianxia said. When Ji Yuelan heard that she was going to be the bait, she looked at Xianxia like she was crazy. "No, you will only die. You have never seen those bears before, so you don't know how powerful they are." Ji Yuelan said, "Many warriors from our tribes have died here. I want to go back quickly." Xianxia wanted to hurry back to the tribe to refine pills. He said, "Yulan, believe in me. Nothing will happen to you." With that, Xianxia rushed over. Ji Yuelan did not expect that, just as she wanted to go out and stop Xianxia. Xianxia's voice suddenly came from her mind. "Yulan, don't move. Just wait for the attack." Yulan was extremely shocked that Xianxia's voice could actually appear in her mind. This was a pretty good technique. Just as she was in a daze, Xianxia had already neared the bear cave, and she could only choose to believe in Xianxia. If not, she would go over again to save Xianxia. This guy only knows how to mess around. Ji Yuelan held her spear tightly, staring at the bear hole. Her hearing was good, and she could already hear the sound of running from the bear hole. When Xianxia arrived at the mouth of the bear cave, he discovered that the cave was very big, and there was the sound of running from inside. "It's out." Xianxia was shocked. He only saw a large black figure suddenly appear. The bear that weighed a few thousand kilograms was very big, but its speed was so fast that it made people tongue-tied. "Damn it! This guy is even faster than that leopard." Xianxia was very surprised, but what made him even more shocked was, there were more than 5 or 6 bears that suddenly ran out. Roar! A roar shook the heavens and the earth, and then, with a bang, a bear fell down, making Xianxia even more surprised. In that moment, Ji Yuelan shot a bear in the distance. Xianxia was running in a certain direction while being chased by a few bears. Seeing this, Ji Yuelan, who was in the distance, became extremely worried and immediately chased after the bear that she killed, not caring about it at all. Furthermore, he even started to shout loudly, attracting the attention of Xianxia's bears. "Be careful. They're going to shoot spikes out of their mouths," Ji Yuelan shouted. Xianxia also heard the dull roars of the bears. He immediately used the heavenly spirit Confuse cloud and cloud constellation to turn his body into mist. Shoo! 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 Suddenly, a wave of sharp thorns covered the sky and pierced Xianxia. Ji Yuelan gritted his teeth and said in his heart, "It's over." At the same time, Ji Yuelan was also in danger, and a few more bears ran out from the bear hole. Just when she thought that Xianxia was done for, she saw Xianxia strangely approach those few bears from behind. "Sword-winged tiger, come out." Xianxia took out the 6 realms mirrors and shone it onto the ground. "Don't fly, just use your sword to stab these guys to death." In a flash, the sword-winged tiger suddenly appeared. The sword-winged tiger's body was much bigger than these bears, and it was not weak either, especially since he had a pair of mystical sword wings on his body. Xianxia released the sword-winged tiger, then took out an arrow and pulled it all over his bow. He injected the primitive Tao power into the divine bow and shot it at the giant bear behind Ji Yuelan. Swoosh! The bowstring vibrated. The sharp arrow shot out like a beam of light, piercing through a bear's head. Ji Yuelan's movements were also extremely fast, flashing towards a bear like lightning, and thrusting his spear towards the giant bear that was about to open its mouth and shoot spikes. When the sword-winged tiger came out, its sword wings flapped, and countless divine swords flew out. In an instant, those bears that were much smaller than him were speared like hedgehogs. Xianxia's second arrow had already shot out, and with the activation of the primitive Tao power, the 9 soaring divine bow, under the power of the primitive Tao power, produced a very strong force. Not only did it pierce through the bear's head, it even flew into the distance and pierced deeply into the mountain. Ji Yuelan had also killed 2 huge bears, and she could have been nervous just now. After all, she was at the bear cave entrance, but under such a tense and dangerous situation, her potential had also exploded. 6 sword-winged tiger were killed, 6 were killed. 2 were killed by Xianxia and 3 were killed by Ji Yuelan. And this all happened in a very short period of time. What is this thing? Ji Yuelan took a few deep breaths, then looked at the sword-winged tiger and said, the golden giant tiger had a pair of huge sword wings, making it look mighty and holy. This was the first time she had seen this kind of thing, and also the first time she felt that beasts could look so good. "The guy I subdued," laughed. The sword-winged tiger kept the swords he released, and then entered the 6 realms mirror's body. Ji Yuelan originally wanted to ask something, but his expression suddenly changed. "Someone is truly coming closer. Put the bear's body away." Xianxia was the quickest one, and he immediately sent all of the bears that the sword-winged tiger killed back into the storage magic treasure. Moreover, Ji Yuelan had just put away the 3-headed bear. Yet there were already more than 10 groups of muscular men riding on giant black wolves. When the battle just broke out, the cries of the dozen or so bears were so loud that they shook the earth and moved far away, attracting the attention of people. "Isn't this Ji tribe's Ji Yuelan? Oh, there's a storage magic treasure inside. Must be a gift from this foreign land." When they arrived, they just happened to see Ji Yuelan keep the bear's corpse into his storage ring. Ji Yuelan's face was extremely solemn. It was obvious that she was afraid of these people. "Let's go." Ji Yuelan pulled Xianxia, and just as he was about to run away, he was stopped by a few sturdy men riding wolves in front of them. "What do you want?" "Your Zhou clan is also a big clan," Ji Yuelan shouted in anger. "Leave the bears, rings, and weapons behind, and you can leave." The leader of the strong men said, "This place is the territory of our Zhou tribe. Hunting beasts here is equivalent to offending our Zhou tribe. I am already very polite that I didn't kill you. What right do you have to say that we are from your Zhou clan?" Ji Yuelan held his pike tightly. These people were obviously snatching something away from him. "With just my blade, don't talk nonsense. Do you want to give it to me?" The brawny man's expression was ferocious, shouting loudly. I shouted 3 times, "Kill if you don't give us the chance." Ji Yuelan clenched his teeth. 1, 2, 3. I. Just as Ji Yuelan shouted out, he felt a wave of heat coming towards him, only to see the sturdy man's head and chest pierced through by a flame. Ji Yuelan was startled, but immediately reacted. The spear in his hand immediately flew out, piercing through a big-sized man's head. "Are you crazy? He is the youngest son of the Zhou clan head. You're dead for sure." Their opponent had already been scared stiff. They had never thought that Xianxia, this outsider, would be so powerful. With just a punch from him in the air, he killed their captain. "Who knows? I'll kill all of you," Xianxia said with a cold smile. But when he punched just now, he had already thrown a small 6 realms mirrors into the crowd. If he had enough strength, it would be best if he could beat his opponent. Ji Yuelan did not think that she and Xianxia could defeat his opponent together. Therefore, she decided to compromise, but did not expect Xianxia to suddenly make a move, which made her surprised. "Don't even think about leaving today," said coldly. The 6 realms mirrors had suddenly become very big under his control, and the 10-odd people in front of him were all on top of the 6 realms mirror's mirror. This was the first time they had ever seen something like this. "Go back and tell the family head," a big-sized man shouted. Just as he finished speaking, they suddenly spun, and the 6 realms mirrors killing array activated. "Go to hell." Xianxia came to the side of the 6 realms mirrors and pressed on the circular-shaped stage with one hand. He continuously transferred primitive Tao power. The primitive Tao power was extremely powerful, causing the killing array of the 6 realms mirrors to be extremely terrifying. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed out of the bright mirror of the 6 realms mirrors, striking the giant wolves and humans on it, causing them to continuously howl. Xianxia pulled the 9-layered sky divine bow, and the flame profound door in his body opened wide. Flaming Tao energy surged out, passing through the 10 layers of profound doors and condensing into a flame arrow. "Go to hell." Xianxia aimed at one of them and an arrow shot out. An intense flame burst out and burnt that person to ashes. Seeing this, Ji Yuelan immediately threw out his spear to kill the sturdy men. In just a short while, all of these dozens of warriors from the Zhou tribe were killed by Xianxia and Ji Yuelan. Those huge wolves were also killed. The meat of these giant wolves should be pretty good. It's all carefully fed. Xianxia walked over, kicked one of the wolves, then set fire to all of their corpses. Ji Yuelan let out a long sigh. Just now, when he killed all those bears, she was extremely nervous, and not long after, he had actually killed the Zhou clan warriors who were much stronger than those bears. "You really aren't weak." At this time, Ji Yuelan had a lot of faith in Xianxia. She had indeed underestimated Xianxia, and did not expect him to be so powerful. Today was such a bountiful day. Xianxia laughed out loud. "These guys were all killed by us. From the looks of it, no one should know." "I don't think so. I just noticed that there's no one around here." Ji Yuelan hurriedly hid the corpses of the huge wolves and cleaned up the area. "We can go back now," Ji Yuelan said. "I only handed in one bear to complete the mission. I didn't expect it to be so early." Right now, she had surpassed the limits of her abilities. 11 bears and a dozen giant wolves. This was truly a great harvest. It was also her biggest gain in history. Xianxia looked at the depths of the stone mountain and said, "Let's go in there for a look after a while. If there really is a strong savage beast inside, then there might be something hidden inside." To be able to give birth to a powerful savage beast here meant that there was a certain level of power that allowed a savage beast to be strong and numerous. "All right, let's head back first. Maybe there will be people coming over later," Ji Yuelan said. As long as no one saw her and Xianxia killing those people, she did not need to worry. They only left for a short while, but they already reaped a lot. When they returned, many people thought that they didn't manage to hunt anything. Inside Ji Yuelan's cave, she was peeling off the skin of a giant bear. She kept these skin for herself, so she only needed to give the meat to the tribe. This bear's meat has more than 700 pounds. After Ji Yuelan finished his work, he said, "I never thought that these bears would actually condense gems." "Gem?" Xianxia walked over to take a look. It was a fist-sized, transparent, and extremely sturdy transparent pearl. This was obviously the beast core of a savage beast. "This is good stuff." Xianxia took it and looked at it. It contained a large amount of primitive Tao power, and this kind of primitive Tao power was very different from the ones he was familiar with. "Kill all the bears. Give me the beast cores if you have them." Xianxia said, "I have great use for it." "This is called a beast core? What's the use?" I only know that this is usually used for decoration. Ji Yuelan said. It can make me stronger. Xianxia said. He was only at the 5th stage of Dao Shi realm. In addition, he still had to cultivate the Dao God Gold body. This beast core contained a type of primitive Tao power that could strengthen the body, which was why the beasts here were so strong. He intended to refine this beast core together with the Dao God Emperor Yuandan. This way, he would not only have the ability to strengthen his body, but also cultivate the primordial profound gate. Ji Yuelan had a storage ring, which could store more things. Right now, she could only take 3,000 kilograms of meat to hand over. Inside the cave, Xianxia was holding onto the beast core and absorbing the primitive Tao power inside it. The moment that type of primitive Tao power entered his body, it immediately burrowed into his muscles and tendons, providing them with a strange type of power, strengthening his body. There is indeed a type of power that can strengthen the body very quickly. If I were to use alchemy to refine this power, it would be even more obvious. Xianxia kept the beast pill. He planned to make Ji Yuelan create a secret room for him to concoct pills when Ji Yuelan comes back. They waited for Ji Yuelan to return. Instead, they waited for a large group of strong men to break in. What are you guys doing? Seeing the stance of this group of people, Xianxia knew that something was amiss. Come and catch you, one of the men said and immediately rushed forward. Xianxia anxiously dodged. The stone room in the cave was very small. With the exit blocked, it would not be easy to escape. Where's Ji Yuelan? Xianxia asked anxiously. Why are you capturing me? Because Ji Yuelan stole the Patriarch's storage ring. She said that you gave it to her. So the Patriarch thinks that you and Ji Yuelan stole his things. He wants to capture you too. After the big man finished speaking, the other big men also rushed forward. Just as they were walking over, Xianxia suddenly jumped, in an instant turning into a small rock, and borrowed the force of the jump to jump out of the cave. These people were all savages in Xianxia's eyes. Although they were powerful, if he were to run, these savages would not be able to do anything to him. Yulan was actually captured. I gave her a storage ring. I really harmed her. Xianxia also thought about how precious that storage ring was. In this primal world, such a thing was considered a treasure. As Ji Yuelan had said before, with this storage ring, it would make it much easier for her to hunt wild beasts. As long as she killed the wild beast, she could get close to it and collect it before escaping. As long as you are a human, you will always have a greedy heart. As long as you are a human, you will always have a greedy heart. Xianxia sighed in his heart. The human heart is evil. He turned into a bug crawling on the ground. He wanted to turn into a bug, but the world couldn't fly, so he didn't try. Save Yulan first. Xianxia never thought that such a thing would happen so suddenly, and had even messed up his plans. All of the warriors in Ji tribe were looking for Xianxia. They had to obey the Patriarch's orders, because the Patriarch's strength was very strong. They all respected the strong. Although they felt that it wasn't good for the Patriarch to catch Ji Yuelan like this, they had no choice. Xianxia, who had transformed into a small bug, carefully entered the cave that the Patriarch was in, right in the middle of the Ji tribe. Ji Yuelan was imprisoned inside, and not long after he entered, he heard Ji Yuelan cursing. Ji Yun, you bastard, you shameless fellow. Don't think that everyone in the clan will believe you. Did you know your prestige has already dropped? When Xianxia heard Ji Yuelan's angry voice, he immediately went over, only to see Ji Yuelan being locked up in a big cage. The cage was made of beast bones, and all the beast bones were the same, even though Ji Yuelan had a lot of strength, but they could not open it. Ji Yun was not here, so he could not hear his voice. Moon mist. Xianxia whispered to Ji Yuelan. Ji Yuelan heard Xianxia's voice resounding in his head, and was slightly startled, asking anxiously, Where are you? They went to capture you. Are you all right? It's fine. Those guys can't do anything to me. Xianxia laughed and turned into his human form. Ji Yuelan had seen a small bug just now, but she never thought that it was Xianxia who changed into it. She was once again witnessing Xianxia's miraculous abilities. Xianxia took out the heavenly magic sword and easily cut open the cage. Although the beast bones were stiff, it was nothing to the heavenly magic sword. Yulan, let's go. We just have to stay far away from G tribe. Xianxia said. No, if I leave, the children here will be miserable. All along, this bastard Ji-yun has always wanted to kill some of the children so that they wouldn't have to bear the burden. Ji Yulan shook his head. Okay. Kill Ji-yun. Xianxia had never seen Ji-yun before, so he did not know how strong he was. Ji-yun was mainly worried that I would become stronger than him, all because of my carelessness. He did not hide the storage ring well, and when he saw that I had a storage ring, he was worried that I would rely on it to hunt more beasts. Ji Yulan said, that's why he has always restricted the growth of soldiers, worried of threatening his position as clan leader. Because as long as you have sufficient strength to challenge him and defeat him, you can become the clan head. Right now, his strength is very strong, so I cannot win against him. I might not be able to. Let's give it a try first. If you can't win, then run. Xianxia said he was not worried at all. These primitive people did not understand array formations. If he wanted to run, it would be a piece of cake. Are you sure? Although you are not someone from the G tribe, you can still challenge him. Ji Yulan said. I've never seen your patriarch before, but seeing how worried he is that his position will be taken by the younger generation, he shouldn't be any powerful individual. He must have a retarded mentality. Xianxia laughed. Come. Let's go and challenge him. Right now, the entire tribe was searching for Xianxia, but they didn't expect that Xianxia and Ji Yulan would actually come out of the patriarch's cave. So many warriors immediately surrounded them. Xianxia saw Ji-yun. He was a middle-aged man, just like the other men here, both tall and muscular. Ji-yun was besieged by more than 10 warriors. Not only did he run away, he even quietly went into his cave and released Ji Yulan. Clan leader. The storage ring was given to Ji Yulan by me. Xianxia said. You misunderstood her. Then where did my storage ring go? My storage ring just disappeared and now it's in her hand. If she didn't steal it, then who did? Ji-yun's voice was loud. At this time, the people of the tribe all surrounded them. They all knew that the patriarch had a very magical ring that could store many things inside. All the warriors in the tribe glared at Xianxia and Ji Yulan. They all hated thieves, especially those who stole precious things from their clan leaders. Under their glares, Xianxia suddenly took out a bunch of storage rings and said, Clan leader, I have a lot of these storage rings. Since Ji Yulan saved me, why not I give one to her? She thought that these things were very precious. She did not expect Xianxia to be able to take out a large handful of these items so casually. Ji-yun and the others were stunned. All of these storage rings were actually in the hands of one person. Of course, I don't only have a storage ring, I also have a storage bag. With that, Xianxia took out many more storage bag. Storage bracelet, storage necklace, storage belt, storage earring. I have them all. He took them out one by one, leaving everyone dumbstruck. All of these things were accumulated over the years by Xianxia, and these things were not precious things in the first place. Now everyone believes that I gave it to Ji Yulan. Patriarch, you must have misunderstood. There is someone else who stole your storage ring, Xianxia said. With that, Xianxia gave Ji Yulan a spatial necklace. This necklace is very suitable for you, very beautiful. Ji-yun was speechless. He had purposely kept the storage ring on purpose in order to frame Ji Yulan, and had even thought that Xianxia was infatuated with Ji Yulan's beauty, which was why he gave the precious storage ring to Ji Yulan. Patriarch, it was you who put away the storage ring and purposely framed me, right? Ji Yulan said. Now that everyone believed her, it was her turn to counterattack. No, I really lost my ring. Ji-yun was actually extremely calm as he promptly said, Looks like I really have misunderstood. Yulan, you have contributed so much to our tribe over the years, so you definitely aren't the one who is stealing things. I have wrongly blamed you. Humph. Who stole it? The ones that can only go near you are your descendants. Don't tell me they stole it? The thief must definitely find it and then behead it. Ji Yulan was very angry. Right? Grab it and chop it off. A soldier shouted. Behead him. The other warriors also shouted, causing Ji Yun's forehead to perspire. Xianxia laughed. Clan leader, Perhaps you were the one who was hiding here. If it's really like this, then we need to behead him. Don't talk nonsense. I'm the clan leader. How could I do that? Right? This is a matter within our clan. Don't meddle in it. Jiyun glared at Xianxia. It was all because of Xianxia that his plan failed. At this time, Jiyun's descendants were also staring at Xianxia in anger. Those few descendants of his should know quite a lot of things. Patriarch, I want to challenge you. Xianxia suddenly said. Yulan said, your G tribe allows outsiders to challenge me. Once I defeat you, I can become an elder of the G tribe and also nominate a warrior from the G tribe as the clan leader, right?